Hey everyone, it's your boy Matt. It's currently the 5th of December 2025. So this video is a description of why there's a beef between me and the equivalent of a TSA agent. There's this guy who thinks he's a police officer and he's not. And he's a lot of fun because of how fucking retarded he is. But I'll give an explanation. The man's name is Theo Aliku. He's an investigator, in inverted commas, and I've learned a lot about his job because I had a conversation with his boss's boss, and this is one of those people who kind of lives in a bit of a fantasy. He's in his mind he's some hard-boiled policeman, but in reality he's sort of one of those people who works at the fucking car registration place, okay? That's him. And he's employed by an organisation called the Australian Health Practitioner Registration Agency. And he has no ability to arrest or call in taps or anything like that. He's just been around a lot of people who do have those authorities, who are actual police officers. And I didn't realise that my phone was just streamed to the public. It took me a while to realise that was going on. So for a while I thought I was just being tapped. But this sack of shit, he's used every small aspect of his very limited power to cause me problems. And I'll give you some context to how we came to this situation. So I'm working for an organisation called Merrymead Catholic Care as a counsellor. It's a very cushy job. The same way they are not run as an organisation which supports the community, they're run as a charity for themselves. This is what it is for most non-government organisations, most benevolent institutions or charities. That's why in most instances you should not actually spend money on charities. You should just be a little bit less aggressive with your tax return, because most of them are fucking shit. And Merrymead Catholic Care is no exception to that. Although there are some parts of that organisation which function particularly well. Their NDIS program, for example, is run phenomenally well, and they have some of the best support coordinators in Canberra. But returning to the rant, what happened is that I'm employed by this guy who doesn't read the fucking internship contract. And I also have this guy who's just jealous because he's a nurse and I'm certifying as a psych. And put plainly, the way I describe it is that he doesn't know the difference between regression and ANOVA. He doesn't know the difference between classical and operant conditioning because he's not a psychologist, and he never could be because he's not intelligent enough. He's a nurse, fantastic career. My auntie's a nurse. She's a professor in midwifery. She's a great inspiration to me. I respect a large amount about nursing. I do not respect this man. He's a bigot. He speaks in the Queen's English. He has a class consciousness, but he's class consciously a member of the upper class. And he's a very strange man. He walks around with a shuffle. He's autistic and has and that autism expresses in obsessive compulsive disorder tendencies. And he just doesn't like that a person from a reasonably lower class background is doing better than him. And what he does is that he makes a series of vexatious allegations to AHPRA. First of all, claiming that I'm impersonating a psychologist, which isn't true. At one point I didn't renew my registration because I was under a lot of pressure. Next thing, then it's I'm I'm not skilled enough or something, and it's just this never-ending cycle of this idiot trying to, this 70, 80-year-old guy who has nothing better to do, who doesn't understand his field, causing me problems. All right. Now Theo Aliku is a similar old guy who doesn't understand shit about shit. And he causes me a lot of problems because he keeps messaging me online, constantly messaging me and sending memes and stuff. And I don't have a choice but to sort of comply with it, because I can't access a lawyer because I can't afford one. And he does weird things, like, just out of pettiness. It's like the kind of thing where a person, like a parking inspector, that's the best way to describe this person. He's one of those people who got a small amount of power and authority, and he's tried to use every ounce of that power and authority because he gets off on it. He wants to feel important. He wants to, like, he used to send these very strange memes about, like, you know, like, the unironically sending me these memes from The Boys with, like, that evil Superman wannabe character, like, you know, who wants to enforce the law, the point is to change society, and just weird shit like that he used to send me. He's not the kind of person that you want to have with any form of authority. And as usual, people who want it rarely are the people that we want, who should have power or authority, and Theo Waliko is one of those people. So he wrote a whole lot of emails, and this is where I have a suspicion and where my money is going. I think he wrote to, because the only time that I have any awareness that someone has written to YouTube or something else was Theo. And I had videos, my YouTube channel, taken down for spreading misinformation because my psychologist registration lapsed, and apparently I was impersonating a psych. Never was. These people actually do not understand what that legislation means, because if they interpret it the way that they interpret it, it means that William James and every single psychologist in history, we have to take their work down as well, provided it doesn't have an active registration with AHPRA. And when my registration will expire soon, like, I will not need to take my stuff down every time I mention that I'm a psychologist or have been a psychologist, because I'm referencing a historical situation, and in that context it is accurate. The guy's just a twat, a very silly man. But my concern is that, like, the government can do all these things without any kind of check and balance, and there isn't a dispute resolution process for me to go through legally, like such as going through a court, and I don't have access to a lawyer to be able to navigate that, even if I wanted to, because I was being made destitute by criminal activity by Humanity Health Group, who was able to leverage the police and other institutions to keep me down and silenced. No, it's happened. Now, returning to what's going on with Theo Waliko. So I've had to deal with all the harassment from this guy who's actively trying to demonetize my work and writing to YouTube to have things taken down. And he's the person who I know by temperament would write to organisations such as banks to stop me from receiving donations and that kind of thing. And that's why I hate this guy. And my view of what we should do with corrupt people in our government is that we need to take direct action by the community on these people. We need to find where they live, and we need to protest outside their home. And there's a standing thing for any person who has an interest or is a member of TACO to go to this man's home and tell him exactly what you think of him. Because the erosion of our basic civil liberties in Australia is terrible. It's not something which should be tolerated. And when we come across corrupt government officials and the officials who are misbehaving, the thing to do is to take direct action on those people and to cause them enough suffering for them to realize that their behavior has been inappropriate. And that's the message for today. Just remember, keep track of corrupt government officials, know where they live, and be able to inflict on them something so that they know that their behaviour is not appreciated by the community. Have a lovely day, everyone.